one of the things that I found in looking at the cases is what you really should do is focus on the cases where the taxpayers win. The most important thing, though, is that the taxpayer has to enter in with the objective of making a profit. The objective, it has to be a goal. It does not have to be likely. They don't have to have an expectation that they're going to be making a profit. They can be trying to make a profit, showing that they're doing things to make a profit, but it doesn't have to be likely that they're going to make a profit. When they talk about this, they'll mention like wildcat oil drilling. I mean, there's a lot of things that people do that, well, they tend to be more optimistic than some of us. So you as an accountant to another accountant can be saying, it's like, yeah, it's a crazy idea. Okay, this person has. You and I might both think it's a crazy idea, and we might think it's just incredibly improbable that they're going to make money. That does not matter at all. Okay, what matters is that they have the objective, and they show that they have the objective by what they do, which brings us to the presumption. Now, if somebody knows one thing about 183, it's probably some distorted version of 183D, the presumption. Now, I would basically say it's not important. It's for practitioners at doing returns, representing an audit. The presumption is of almost no significance at all. It never comes up in the case law. I mean, I think it's mentioned once or twice in the 90s. You just never see cases where they talk about all the fine points of the presumption. The presumption is if somebody is profitable in 3 out of 5 years or 2 out of 7 in the case of horses, and that provision was that 2 out of 7 thing was thrown in by a senator from Kentucky. You got a little, if you go in and litigating it, it's like a little, it's an edge. It's like when you get accused of a crime, you presume not guilty, so they got to prove you guilty. So it doesn't have a lot of practical, practical significance. But I'll tell you, practitioners, I have this friend, and he's got this little business, and he's saying, yeah, well, I started it and I lost money for 3 years, and my accountant told me, oh, 4th year you can't write the losses off anymore. And I mean, that's just so wrong. It comes up though in the Internal Revenue Manual, where they're talking about potentially productive issues on an individual return. It says, does the taxpayer have losses in 3 of the last 5 years or 2 out of the 7 for breeders? This is in the Internal Revenue Manual. It's backwards. I really don't understand it. This is dated 2017, but I think it's been that way for a really long time. The other thing they say here, cannot combine 2 or more activities to determine profitability. Each activity must be evaluated on its own. We're gonna talk about that, because that's one of the best ways to get out of dealing with the 183 issue, is how you frame the activity.